I just hit the button.
All right.
All right, so your position on Palestine.
um, what
No, please
particular
don't answer that.
aspect?
Please don't
Right,
answer that. I was
right,
joking.
right,
Please don't answer
right.
that.
This is still gonna be on tape somewhere someday.
Yeah. No, I just figured it would be a nice ice-breaking question. Um, so the title of the stream is Distercation, but there's a question in the description, and I felt like maybe we could talk about why disciplined people are more attractive. Hey, Lewis. So I don't know if y'all can hear my co-host, but I can't hear my co-host. But I hope y'all can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard that.
All right, all right. Sorry, I don't know what that
Microphone
was or
check.
what that is. Um,
1 2 1 2.
what I said was that's very multi-layered, and it can be attacked from a lot of different angles. But ultimately, when you see someone that you perceive to be disciplined, it secretly inspires you to be better, because if
Mm-hmm.
you're in the midst of someone who is able to tame their beast, quote unquote, to be able to achieve something that they want to do, then it reassures you that you have the same capabilities, and it motivates you because nobody wants to be around somebody who's constantly moving forward and they're being stagnant.
Right. Right. Exactly. Like you said, it motivates you to do more or even just get deeper in your bag because even if you're already pretty disciplined, if someone catches your eye that is disciplined and that is what kind of comes off of them without you even maybe making first contact with them, you notice that in some ways they are disciplined just based on their physical appearance. It's like, all right, let me straighten up and fly right before I approach this person. And
Hmm.
I think that goes even deeper if you have already made their acquaintance and you are able to kind of infer what they do on a regular basis that lends itself to that discipline. But conversely, I would say the less disciplined you are, the less attractive you are.
Mm, so that I believe is debatable. I believe it depends on where you're at in life, uh, for a lot of different reasons. Birds of a feather flock together, all that kind of stuff. But also, if you look at adolescent women, they are attracted to the man and or woman that lacks discipline and chooses to go the other way regardless of consequence. And so I think it's about where you're at and what you're trying to get out of life and or the interaction that you're about to have, which you know like you said earlier, I differ in a way. I don't think it's more so about how you feel before getting your shit together before you approach them. I think it's you yourself recognizing the difference in how you look at that person because of their discipline and wanting other people to look at you the same way. even if it
Hmm.
means you being part of a team and you being with that person doing that, but you know that I look at this person differently. Why do I look at this person differently? Because they're disciplined. Well, I want people to look at me differently also, so I need to be disciplined also. So although it does, in terms of approaching somebody to court or whatever, yeah, it definitely makes you want to get your shit together before you step to them. But
But you know what? As you
regardless,
were saying that, I was thinking about an instance where it's not because of attraction romantically, but maybe it's attraction and motivation to step your game up in other ways, like for other reasons.
right.
It's not always, I mean, have you ever encountered someone who made you want to step your game up just on a general, like, even another guy, for example, where it's like, okay, I think I could improve in this way. This person makes me want to do that. I'll say for myself, I have. I've come across women who've made me feel like, oh, okay, I need to tighten up.
Oh no, of course. I come across men and women because, when you get to a certain part of your journey in trying to better yourself, you realize that lessons aren't specific to a gender or an age or a situation. When you learn what you learn, it's universal. So yes, I've definitely found many lessons and motivation in the habits and the discipline of other, you know, guys that are out on their grind, or females out here hustling, or in whatever way, whether it be work,
Hmm.
hustle, or whatever, just each person doing their doing, do what they do. And I'm definitely humble enough to know that I'm not perfect, because if I was, everybody would know about me way before this moment. So
Right. But there would be no introduction needed.
right. Right.
We didn't even make one though. Um, my co-host is Jax, and I am Toya. I am his co-host as well. We are co-hosting this together, and we're calling it distercation, which is a juxtaposition of three words: discipline, determination, and dedication.
All
You
which
and I
three
had
are
a
good pillars.
Yeah, but you and I had a little back and forth about which comes first, didn't we?
We did. We did. I definitely believe discipline is the foundation of anything that you need to do. If it doesn't matter how good you set it up, it doesn't matter how good it's going to work, it doesn't matter how much it's going to make, it doesn't matter how many good people you have in great positions. If it does not have the discipline. You do not have the discipline to do what needs to be done in each situation along the way, to maintain, stick to the plan or deviate from the plan. If you don't have the discipline of knowing where we're trying to go and doing what it takes to get there, then it won't be successful.
Which, in my mind, aligns exactly with where I was going with that word. So, yes, yes, and yes. Shout out in the chat to UFO Kamikaze One. Um, I don't know where else do you want to go with this conversation about attraction and discipline, or do you want to go in a different direction?
um I mean, I definitely, of course, if we had a more directed direction, there is a lot
Mhm.
of different facets that can go with that. But with this being, what it is at the moment, no, let's free roam for a moment and see where, you know.
Oh shit. We sandboxing it. Okay. We're missing the BET Awards. I want you to know
Yeah, fuck them BT was.
that.
No stress to anybody that do, you know what I mean? It's that, and I ain't even mad. I'm a music person, so but yeah,
Yo,
BET ain't been for BET since right.
yeah. How about that? How about I woke up Friday morning and realized I missed the whole B2K Pretty Ricky verses. And I was like, I'm not living right because I definitely meant to watch that.
Mm,
So me missing the BET Awards just shows my dissertation to not being um typical and part of the herd, right? Sounds good, right?
it definitely, definitely, and I'm kind of glad that I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad that I missed it.
I mean, but it's culturally impactful.
That depends on your culture. I mean, I'm just being truthful. We all have a lot of similarities, and we all like a kind of the same things, but we all ain't the same. And I don't mean that in a negative way
That's
of throwing
true.
shade, but I'm saying, in the country
Yeah.
they like to do picnics and parking lot pimp. In
Yeah.
the city, they not with that. I ain't saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying, everybody different.
Indeed. Because I mean, one of it is not more important or better than the other. It is just how you do, how you get along.
100%. And it worked. You went in Rome without breaking who you are and not being true to yourself, do as the Romans. That's
Hmm.
what you're supposed to do.
Hmm. I would love to know your thoughts about the Carnival Cruise Ball brawl.
From back when,
No, it recently happened. There was a
nah, you bring me up to date. What happened?
Yeah, there was a big fight. Some Negroidians were fighting, um, either de departing from the cruise or getting on it. I can't be so bothered with the details of it, but it was like involving quite a bit of people, and folks were disgusted because, I mean, it was such a public display of a gruesome act, and there were children nearby, and um, I was just watching something regarding it, and the person who was talking about it, she was saying how she makes a concerted effort to separate herself from those types of people. And I found myself laughing and relating and resonating with that because even for me, for example, right? There are national chains that I go to or regional chains that I go to, but there are specific locations of those chains that I go to so as to avoid a certain demographic of people that I resemble.
I
And
mean,
I mean, like,
so you got to know what of course, and I get what you're saying because in certain circumstances, I purposely choose these particular stores that you avoiding for different
yeah,
reasons. Number one, I know the
right,
food gonna be seasoned right. Number two, I know it's
right,
gonna be cooked well, sometimes too well, but that ain't that's beside the point.
right.
Secondly, every now and then you might be able to get something for a bag or something like that instead of what I mean. Like it's
You might be
there
able to go
there
to one place instead of two and get everything you need. I mean,
you
there are
probably will.
reasons.
You probably will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Everything applies different.
Hmm.
If you want it to be right and on time and not pre-cooked, you probably want to go to the places you go to.
But bringing the conversation back to dissertation, is it not an direct display of whether you are disciplined or not, how you comport yourself in public?
um no,
Okay.
because so that depends on what your focus is. That's what I'll change my answer. um Someone can have extreme discipline, and if they're not in the element where they feel like they need to apply that discipline, they take that time as recreation time and
Oh, so since we on vacation, it's all right for me to knuckle pipe all night.
right, right. I ain't
Yeah.
doing nothing. I ain't nowhere, nothing is serious. Ain't nothing
Oh,
important. So I can just chill,
oh.
do whatever I need to do. And then when I get back and it's on, when we get on demon time, then I'm gonna make sure that I do what I do and I do it good. But other than
Mm-mm.
that, this ain't that.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not rolling. Your
I
discipline does not just shut off because you're on vacation. You
I
have to be
mean,
disciplined enough to carry yourself in a way that is representative of who you are at all times.
so
The
in a
only time
way,
that you shouldn't, the only time you shouldn't be concerned with carrying yourself in a way that represents yourself in the best light is when you are at home or at a place that is like home. That is the only time that it's okay for you to do something that might be out of character, right? Because, in my opinion, that's what discipline is. It's saying, I need to make sure that I keep my head on a swivel. You know, that's part of discipline. It's making the decision to do the right thing even when nobody's watching, but because you are alert of your surroundings, because you are paying attention to where you're at and what that looks like and how people are perceiving you. You can't control people's perception of you, but you sure can put your best foot forward in terms of shaping that perception. That's why you'll
so
never see me in a Carnival cruise, bro. You won't
So
see me
I
on one.
right. That don't say never. First of all, second of all,
You just won't.
that depends on. So yes, I agree with what you're saying about discipline itself. Now, what
Hmm.
the difference? What I believe is, you know, that's only when discipline is being applied. Now, that
Hmm.
discipline isn't a 24-hour,
No,
continuous thing. So
no.
for the person, of course, you understand my examples, for the little kid who was in class eating all the blue crayons, right?
Me.
he, this person grew up, right? So now this person is 36. Now he might not be eating crayon, but whatever he's into right now, if he doesn't do that Monday through Friday while he's working, taking care of his kids, making sure whatever and blah blah blah, and once a year he goes out with his friends, or on the weekend he does whatever he does because that's what he do or whatever. He's very disciplined. He is a very very disciplined person because he has the impulse. He knows what he can
Right,
do. He's able and
right,
he's in the position to do it, but he makes sure he sets a time that only this is what's going to go on during this particular time. That's extremely disciplined. Just because
right.
you don't not indulge, or that doesn't make you a more disciplined person. It's just when I choose to apply it, am I able to do it? And that's where the discipline comes in. Now, some people turn it on all the time. Some people turn it on, continuously in a specific area. So it just depends on how you're trying to apply it.
True. And you know what? I'm not even going to disagree with that. It actually lays the perfect foundation for making the point that just because one has discipline does not mean that they have districation because you're still missing the other two.
Right.
Everything that you said lines up perfectly with not having the determination to continuously put forth your best and not having the dedication to pull that all together. Um, And again, it's not a 24/7 thing, but it is something that is top of mind 24/7. Whether you are making decisions that fall in line with that 24/7 remains to be seen. I don't feel like anybody can do that. That's I won't say anybody, but it's a level of dedication that really doesn't leave or allow room for any other variables, and life is full of them. So, I mean, within reason. Everything within reason, moderation. Yeah, I mean, I just again, I you said never say never, but I just I have been in situations in public that have gotten pretty heated and tense, and I'm never above walking away because
So I remember recently in a
mhm,
conversation between me and a friend where this friend was out in public with an elderly family member, and there was context presented that there might have been a situation that may have arisen if the people that were out in public had disregarded the older family member of my friend and kind of knocked her around. Then there might have been altercation between my friend and the people who were knocking her older family members around. So
right.
I think if giving the right motivation in the right circumstance, which is why I say never, and we
Yeah,
do our
yeah,
best
yeah.
to avoid all of that.
Yeah.
But I do think that there are certain situations that, each of us can't override in the moment. Of course, logically thinking and approaching the situation, but 9 out of 10 times, most people who are in the situation, they don't think this is the situation that they're in until they look back at it.
That's true. That's a good point. But I think I don't know, I just operate from the place of yo, chill out. Because I know me. And I know once I get to that point where it's like no point of return, I'm no longer responsible for what happens after that. So I try my hardest not to get to that point.
Well, and it's sad because just like accountability has gone out the window, you know, on both sides, not just female, and in a lot of the different kind of males out here. But that's that's a slippery slope all in together.
It
For you to
is.
say you know how you are and you know what you're gonna do, or you're not responsible for what. First of all, society don't even operate by them rules, so they don't care if they don't care if you're responsible for what you do after that, and that's not going to stop so and so from putting her hands in your face and doing, you know what I mean, like that's not,
I
none of that
know.
matters.
I
None of
know.
that matters. So
That's true.
yeah,
May we never find out.
right, that that's more of the things that I would say.
Yeah, 'cause nah. Nobody likes to see angry Toya. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
No, nobody likes to see angry anybody. We all are capable of a lot of hurtful and bad things, and
Right.
nobody really wants to do all of that,
Right.
I mean, some
But
of
I
us do,
think
so
no, no, I was just gonna say that there are some people who thrive in that energy, and then there's some of us who don't. And I think most people who know me would not, would know that I'm not quick to anger, right? But at the same time, the longer you've known me, the more you know that there's a capability and that you really just don't. It's best for everyone if we don't. So I try not to.
Now, I mean, truthfully to speak, you know how it be. Like as you say, some people thrive in that area. That's not entirely true. And you've
Yeah,
been privileged enough to be brought up in an environment where you can constantly choose the option for that not to happen. But a lot of people don't grow up in that
that's a
environment.
good
And a lot of
point.
people who grow up
Exactly.
in their environments, the only ones who they see thriving and surviving is those who live in that violent element. So for them to never not live you know, in that space, they have to put on that and be that and embody that so that it becomes who they are so they can solidify their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would say that a lot of the reason my temperament is this way is because I did grow up around a lot of uh, turmoil, you know, whether it be directly from my parent or the people that I was around. You know, for me, it's like I never wanted to live my life on autopilot so much so that I'm just walking around with a permanent scowl. So I made a very conscious decision to not do that from a young age. But I'm not saying that to take away from your point at all because it still bears noting that when you're in a chaotic environment for most of your life, that's all you know. And so that's what you put out.
Well, and also, there are two different. We are speaking from two different parts, and there are two different
Right.
elements too. That as a
Right.
female, what was chaotic and hard for you was emotional. As a male, what's
Hmm.
chaotic and hard is a lot of
Yeah, good
physical
point.
things that can be controlled from a outside source, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, you know, how you choose to react and handle certain situations is not the same as what a young man would choose as an option. You know what I mean?
Very true. I mean, more often than not, yeah.
Right.
It
Right.
is 2026.
Right. No, I mean, you know. But that goes for everybody. I mean, including all judgment, because I don't act like I don't judge people and all that stuff. But everybody's trying to figure it out. Everybody,
Right.
just because we had it mastered or we think we had it mastered, the next generation think they got it mastered and or think they can do better than what we did. So everybody's gonna be fucking up and doing dumb shit and changing and switching up the rules and all that because we none of us know what the fuck we're doing.
But you can't tell us that. You can't say
Right. Right. What do you mean we don't know what we're doing? We only been
that.
not surviving for the last 7,000 years.
Man, we experts. What you talking about
Right.
with the book, okay?
And before everybody jump on me, I know it ain't no 7,000 years. That's a whole different podcast episode. That's that right. We'll
Yeah.
get into that later. But yeah,
Another time. Shout out to Lighthouse 301, Smitty. Um, there are no other things that I wanted to discuss unless there was something you wanted to say. I think we could wrap this up.
I think that was almost excellent timing because I have another obligation that is uh, at my doorstep at the moment, and I need to go ahead and address that. So yeah, this
All
has been
right,
a
you do that.
nice little session.
Indeed. Until the next time.
Until